going to turn to some politics now, and Governor Kathy Hochul appears to be the clear frontrunner in the Democratic primary for governor. Just about a year away from that contest, a new Siena College poll came out this morning, and it shows the incumbent getting almost half the support of Democrats here in New York. The two highest profile challengers, Congressman Richie Torres and Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado, barely make it into double digits. However, it is not all good news for Kathy Hochul in this poll. Almost the same number of people here in New York say they view Hochul favorably as view President Trump favorably. And this is in a state where he is not very well regarded. So what to make of this new poll? Bob McCarthy is our 7 News political analyst, and he's here with us again tonight. Bob, great to see you.
Yes, Michael.
So we knew this was coming out, and we knew it was going to make some news, right? Because these polls have kind of, been going up and down. We now have a clearer picture of who might be involved in this race. So I want to start there with the top line and Kathy Hochul, how well she's doing among Democrats.
Well, the thing about it is we know that these are just very snapshot in time type of things, but the governor just can't seem to break over that 50% mark as far as favorability goes overall, maybe with some Democrats, but certainly not overall. And we know from past Siena polls that some of the things that she is introducing in her budget and her state of the state are wildly popular. She just doesn't seem to be able to communicate it well. And so this remains a problem for her, despite all the advantages that she still has.
So I think the governor's folks will say 46% is pretty good, right, against the other candidates. The worrisome part of this poll, really, for Kathy Hochul is it's 40% favorable, 50% unfavorable. I mentioned she has almost the same favorability rating as Donald Trump does. He's 39%, she's 40%. Those would seemingly be some red flags for her candidate.
The things that I think ought to be of concern in the Hochul camp are the fact that she is quite negative in areas such as crime and in affordability. To me, those are the big things that people are going to be voting on in 2026. And crime, remember, was a major factor in the fact that she won by only 6 points over Lee Zeldin in 2022. So she needs to continue to try to communicate these things, and that seems to be her problem.
Lee Zeldin, the Republican from 3 years ago, ran a pretty good campaign, about as well as you can expect a Republican to run in New York. In terms of the Republicans this time around, Mike Lawler, who you interviewed on this show just a couple weeks ago, as he's kind of doing the rounds, he leads in this poll, but a lot of Republicans just don't know any of the candidates running.
As far as Mike Lawler or Lieutenant Governor Delgado or Richie Torres, nobody knows them. I mean, they're up around 2/3 of people not even recognizing their names. But the thing that I find most interesting about Mike Lawler is that state Democrats about every 15 minutes are issuing a press release going after Mike Lawler. They seem to fear him to some extent. They see him as somebody who might be able to capitalize on those gains that Lee Zeldin made and that Donald Trump, frankly, made in the election last year.
I also want to ask you about the issues, and you mentioned crime and affordability are going to be up there at the top, undoubtedly. But this poll also asked New Yorkers how they feel about some other things, and one of them was this wildcat strike among corrections officers here in New York. We believe it has officially come to an end now. You're going to want to see Eileen Buckley's report coming up next at 6 o'clock. But this poll basically found, when they asked how has Governor Hochul handled this strike, 33% rather approve, 42% disapprove. The upstate downstate divide is what stood out to you, though, in this.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to see much more concern about this in the upstate areas where the prisons are and where the people who are employed. But you know what, Michael? I think this is kind of a flavor of the month type of thing. I think that it is a big, big issue right now. It's dominating much of our coverage, especially upstate. But I think when push comes to shove, when these elections are held in 2026, we're going to be talking about affordability, crime, and some other things that are pocketbook issues.
And just on that note, and this poll, also asked about that, but you factor all of it in. What is the sense that you get from New York voters right now? They don't know a lot about people running against Hochul. They don't seem to necessarily want her to be governor for 4 more years, but it's kind of like one of these, well, then who else?
Yeah, and also, I'm just fascinated by some of the dynamic that's going on in this very Democratic state. I mean, we saw the only 6-point victory the last time. We saw Donald Trump, who was not popular in this state, make some inroads in the presidential election, and we've got Republicans actually eyeing the governor's mansion for the first time since George Pataki that I can remember. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic to be watching right now, and it deserves to be watched because there's something going on.
And it could change very quickly if the dynamic in Washington goes where Democrats think it's going. If we head toward a recession,
absolutely. I mean, the market was not good again today. People are feeling these pocketbook issues, and whether they take it out on Republicans or not remains to be seen. But that's a matter of concern for the GOP, no question.
We're going to talk about the markets in just a moment. Bob McCarthy, 7 News political analyst. Bob, thanks.
Okay, Michael.